Noam Chomsky had some pretty harsh words for the unvaccinated, quote unquote. And it sounded almost as if he was advocating for the literal segregation of unvaccinated individuals. Let's talk about it. Now, at this point, I'm sure most of you all have heard the phrase from The Dark Knight, where Harvey Dent said, "You die being a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain." Right now, Noam Chomsky is sounding like the literal epitome of that. Not just with the comments I'm about to show you, but even with some of his statements over the last years, effectively pretending as if Trump was more inherently violent, inherently more dangerous, or quote unquote more racist than Joe Biden was. Now, ironically enough, Chomsky has been rather quiet on just how bad of a president Joe Biden has been, but this seems to be par for the course when it comes to figures, liberal figures like Noam Chomsky. In this Primo Nutmeg interview, however, he takes it a step farther than even I expected to take it, despite the fact that Noam has clearly been becoming more of a centrist than a leftist. Let's check it out.
When you talk about folks having the freedom to, separate if they don't want to abide by these vaccine mandates, what would that look like on a practical level? Does that mean that folks need to just stay home and have like groceries delivered to them? Does it mean like separated communities of folks who are unvaccinated, or just, how do you think this would practically play out?
Same way as with people who say that I don't want to accept traffic rules. I suppose there were people who said it's an attack on my liberty to make me stop at a red light. It's government overreach. We don't want the state to have that power over my private life. Well, such people they should have the decency to remove themselves from the community. If they refuse to do that, then measures have to be taken to safeguard the community from them. Then comes the practical question that you ask, how can we get food to them? Well, that's actually their problem. Of course, if they really become destitute, then yes, you'd have to move in with some measure to secure their survival, just as you do with people in jail, for example. But that's really not the issue.
No, whatever the hell just happened that you just said, that definitely is the issue here, don't you think? You just compared unvaccinated people to those in jail. You literally just said that if they cannot go out to eat because they choose to exercise bodily autonomy, that it's actually their problem if they starve. I just want everybody to understand something. This is just this is just the context of the situation as it is, not as we would like it to be. The CDC has already said they are about to change the definition of being vaccinated or fully vaccinated to incorporate booster shots. A lot of people feel a lot of different ways about getting the booster shots. But according to Noam Chomsky's logic, if you now choose to not get a booster shot, well, then you are just as much of a criminal and just as much of a dissident as those who never chose to get a shot to begin with. Even if you have your reasons, your personal reasons for not getting that shot. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but Noam Chomsky has actually been an advocate to make sure that we don't see anything happen like what we saw in Nazi Germany happen again. Can someone say honey? Oh my God, bro, what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? This has been known for the last few years. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. but literally lived long enough to see himself become a villain. Like, take the microphone and the camera away from him. I love Primo, by the way. Primo does a great job with his interviews. I'm actually always amazed. Primo Radical, by the way, follow him on YouTube. I'm always amazed at just how much he can get people to tell on themselves and reveal their true nature. But this is just yet another example of that. But the fact that Noam Chomsky had a pretty significant hand in authoring the book Manufacturing Consent, and yet here he is manufacturing consent using rhetoric that seems tantamount to advocating for segregation. The stoplight thing, the traffic light thing, by the way, I shouldn't have to explain this to somebody that I thought would be a little bit more logical, but let's go ahead and explain it anyway. Red lights stop people from running into other people. Hell, red lights, even though they're in place today, still don't always work. Don't always work. But they stop people at a significant rate from running into other people. Right? Okay. From what we know, right, and they save lives, like based off of the statistics. From what we know about the vaccine, according to the CDC, does getting the vaccine stop the spread of COVID to a significant degree? According to the CDC, it does not. Does it stop you from contracting COVID if you were to get the shot? Whichever shot you choose to get. Well, no, it does not. So then, Noam, why are you why are you trying to compare which, by the way, even if I chose not to respect red lights, I might get a ticket just every time I do it, but I'm not going to be stopped from literally living my life. If I lose my license, I'll just catch a Lyft or an Uber. No, I don't go to jail. I'm not denied basic human rights. I don't lose, for example, my pilot's license because I lost my driver's license. It's not how it works. I don't lose my job as a political analyst or a journalist because I chose not to drive on the streets because I don't like red lights. No. This whole thing has become utterly ridiculous. It's just wild to me that somebody of the Jewish faith who's leaned heavily on a Jewish background when providing analysis as to why it's so important to challenge fascism in all of its forms, ironically, would straight up advocate for segregation and then say, well, that's not the issue at hand, though. No, this is absolutely the issue at hand. No. This is... Somebody get your guy. I don't know whose man's is this, but please come retrieve him. Come get him and get him away from the camera. You know your uncle at the barbecue who old, kind of single, because his wife left him, drank a little bit too much, hasn't seen everybody in a while, and just keeps on talking until eventually he says something to piss off one of your aunts or one of your aunt's husbands because he just won't stop. He was cool, he was funny, he was wholesome. Man, Uncle Noam is, and he just kept talking. He hit that point of no return. That's where Noam is. Get him out the barbecue. Take the Hennessy away from him, and let him ride off into the sunset. Although I'm not sure there's much integrity for him to ride off into the sunset with. But I would love to know your thoughts on this issue. Like this video, share this video, leave a comment below with what you think about Noam's comments. And always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.